boys and girls, today we are going to work on adding color to our drawing. So you are going to want to pick colors that contrast. Contrast means that they make each other stand out. So ways to make colors contrast is to pick a light color and a dark color, like the light blue and the dark blue. You could also look at picking colors to contrast that are a warm and cool color. So the pink and the blue, and then those especially contrast because pink is light and the blue is dark, but here where they're both light, they also contrast. And then also up here I have a light color, a light pink, and kind of a darker yellow that also contrast. Other ways to think about contrasting colors is two colors that cross from each other on the color wheel. Complementary colors, we call that. And then a bright color and a dull color, a bright color and a dark color. So anything that makes each other stand out would be contrasting colors. So we have lots of choices. I'm going to work on coloring my owl. So my colors that I picked, I'm going to start working with 5 colors that I picked. I picked a pair of complementary colors. I picked yellow, and then yellow will contrast because it's bright with this dark purple, and they're also complementary. And then I picked a yellow and a light purple, and they should contrast because they're complementary. I've also added into this a dark pink and a light pink. And then I was thinking that these would work well because the red, the pinks, and the purples are next to each other. So they'll create some harmony, but then also contrast because they're lights and darks. So a little bit of thought should go into your color selection. Don't just pick random colors. Think about making them contrast and maybe even some harmony by colors that are next to each other. Okay. So I'm going to use similar colors on my animal and then also those same colors in my border like I did here, and that creates some unity or harmony in your piece of artwork if the colors go together. So when you color with markers, we want to use our 3-star coloring. So 3-star coloring is we would outline the shape first. So if I want to color this zigzag area here with purple, I'm going to first outline it. And I try to use the tip of my marker. If I can't see where the tip is touching the line, I would rotate my paper. And then I can move the marker along the edge a little bit easier because I can see where the tip is touching. And then once I've outlined the shape, I'm going to try to color across the shape in one direction. And then I'm going to move on to my next shape. If I want to do this one with light purple, I could do that. I want to avoid resting my hand in the wet marker, so that's why I'm going to switch. So again, turn my paper so that I can see where I need to outline. If I'm using a really light color, I might want to do all the light color first so that I don't ruin the tip of my marker. Then something else I can think about is the direction of my lines as I'm coloring. So these dark purple lines went diagonal from right to left, and maybe I want to make the light purple lines go diagonal left to right. And that would add more texture to my coloring. I could also choose to make them go in all of the same direction throughout, and that would make it look very neat and uniform. I've colored my animal, I'm going to color the designs on my border. I also want to think about making a pattern with the colors and think about maybe making it symmetrical across or repeat as it goes around. I finished coloring my border and my animal. I added color to the branch that was here. I have 2 steps that are left. One to color the background and then one to outline everything in Sharpie. So you could choose to color your background with crayon. I did that in this picture, and I tried to make the white go away using even pressure throughout so that it looked like a similar blue and a similar green across my paper. I stayed in the lines, and with crayon you can kind of switch up the direction that you color in as long as it gets to be blended nicely. The table that I colored on had a little bit of texture to it, so it made some lines in the background, so that might be something to think about too, is what kind of table you'd like. You could also color the background with marker. If I was going to color the background of this one with marker, I would want to pick a color that would again contrast with my image, my owl, so that my owl still stands out. I'm also going to have to color a very large area with marker, and again I would try to follow the same steps as I did coloring with marker before, where I outline it first and then color it in one direction, which will be a challenge when I'm coloring really long lines. So that is something to think about if you are going to choose to color the background with marker, is what one would you, or what material would be most successful with, marker or crayon. So I finished coloring the background with marker. You can tell I went in straight lines to fill in the background. The step that I'm going to do is I'm going to outline everything with Sharpie so that I get a clean, crisp edge along all of my shapes. So take your time, really stay at the edge of the color when you do this so that you are defining where one color is starting and one color is stopping.